Hi everyone. So this week we are going to create, your project is going to be create hall passes for all the classes in our building. So if you haven't already done so, let's get to Schoology or Google Classroom, find this link for your class, and then type in your nickname. Remember, it's PD, either one, or your period number, and then Mr. Is my first name, I guess, and then Hurd is last name. So for you, it's PD, your period number, and then your first and last name. And click that's me. If you haven't already done so, also in Google Classroom and Google in Schoology is a link to this form. So make sure you go to this form and read all about this. Make sure you read all the directions in Google Classroom or in Schoology, and make sure you understand what we're trying to do today. So we're going to make passes for our rooms at the middle school, and we are going to make sure no room is duplicated. So when you complete this form, the room that you select, you might want to write it down so you don't forget, whatever room you select is going to disappear from the list. So I'll show you that list in a few moments. But anyway, we're going to make passes that look something like this, or this one here. We're going to make 6 passes for each room. So you're going to make a bathroom drink pass, you're going to make a hall pass, as this one shows. You're going to make a nurse pass, main office pass, guidance office pass, and a library pass. And then I'll print those out on our 3D printers that we have at school in the color of the hallway. So like 507 is my room, it's red hallway. No, I'm sorry, 507 is not it is my room, but it's not in the red hallway. That was where I was last year. So 507 is in the green hallway upstairs, so this really should be green. But anyway, get the idea. I'll print it with a green filament so that it looks green when it comes out of the 3D printer. If it was 407, which is where I was last year, then it would be red. Anyway, okay, so choose your name. Both periods are here. So this year, we have two STEM classes for me, period 1 and 3. Make sure you click here and find your name. It's alphabetical by last name. And then pick the room that you want to do. And like I said, once you pick one room, you're going to hit submit, and that room will disappear from the list so the next student doesn't pick the same room you did, and we don't get any duplicates. So pick a room, hit submit, and then write it down so you don't forget, and then go to here. All right, so this time we're going to go to learn. It's a little bit different. And we're not changing this. We're going to leave this 3D and go to lessons. And basically what we're doing, we're taking this idea of a luggage tag and we're going to make it into our passes, our hallway passes, bathroom passes, and so on. So we're going to do this lesson. Now you can follow along with this lesson and make your own luggage tag if you like. Make a copy of it. I'll show you how to do that later, and then do the room. If you want me to, I can print out a luggage tag for you from our 3D printers. But anyway, we're just go through this. It tells you how to bring things in and drag things in. I'll show you how to do that later. But if you want to play with this, you can. I just don't want to make the video super long. And then when you're done, it gives this little thing. But anyway, once you're done, if you're creating your luggage tag, that's great. If you're not, and you're just going to create a room number, then you can just go through the done like I did, and then we'll go to Tinkercad. And we're going to go to our lessons, but we're going to duplicate our lesson here. So we're going to duplicate this. It's going to duplicate it and say copy of. We don't want it to say copy of. We're going to change this to room, whatever room you chose, and then whatever pass you're going to make. So let's say we're just going to make a hall pass because that's one of the shortest ones. Okay. Change that name, and then come down here and let's start modifying things. So first thing we're going to do is I want to go to top view. I want to change this to not have these lines. You can leave them if you want, but I like them to be gone. But it's completely up to you how you think you want to lay it out. What I think it does is give us the freedom to put our letters in more places and to resize our letters. So I'll show you all that later in this video. So anyway, I clicked and I dragged across this, making sure I only selected the tag here and not the letters. and then I'm going to go up to this little icon that says ungroup. So click ungroup, and you can see that's what it turns into. Then I'm going to unclick. So by clicking out here, I deselected everything that I had. I'm going to click this and hit delete. I'm going to click this, hit delete, hit this, hit delete, and that's going to give me a wide open view. Then I'm going to go back, select everything again, and regroup it. So this is the regroup icon right there. Okay, doesn't get its color back. I'm going to go ahead and here, I like that color, and give it its color back, or close to that color. You can always choose multicolored or different things, but I'm going to print it out with the filament, so it doesn't really matter what color we make it, other than for us to see what we're doing here. So click off of this, and then we're going to just start dragging in these letters. Now you don't want to delete any of these letters because we're going to be using them for each tag, and so you might need to use these letters, so I wouldn't delete them or resize them. But you see how it's snapping to certain spots? You can undo that. A couple ways to make sure you can undo it is to come down here and make sure you, all right, let me finish this first, and turn this off, or turn it to very low instead of the 1 millimeters, turn it off or very low. And then you can zoom in to whatever letter you selected by clicking on this button right here. Okay. Now this is a 3D version. I like to also kind of click on this and switch to flat view. I think that gives us a better view of where our letters are on the blue tag itself. But you can see right here my R is a little bit lower than my M. So I'm going to click on the M and just drag it down. Now because I turned it off, it's not snapping anymore. I pretty much have unlimited places I can put this M. So I'm going to get it pretty close to right there. All right. And then I'm going to click on the blue, click on the zoom out, and that's going to let me zoom back out. Not zoom out, but zoom, what does this say? Fit screen to selected shape. Unclick. Anytime if you make a mistake, you can always go to undo, and it will undo it. So let's say I brought in a number. There is no room 700, but let's say I brought in a number, and I was trying to move it around, and I accidentally, made it bigger. Okay. I can just go back up here and click undo. It goes back to what it was. So make sure you do that right away, because otherwise there's other things it's going to undo before you get to where you want to get to. All right, so then room 7, and then we're going to bring in our letters, and I recommend getting them all in here, and then maybe zooming in. All right, so here we are. We need 2 L's. So what I'm going to do is select that letter. I'm going to Control C, Control V. If you're on an Apple product, it's a little bit different. But there is, look at that. See how I'm changing it? So I want to go undo that. I want to probably zoom in to my L. So I'm a little bit better at this, selecting it and not changing size. Looks like I'm giving like a 1.5 millimeter spacing, which each one of these grids is a millimeter. And yeah, it looks pretty good, lined up pretty well with the other L. Another thing you can do is select more by holding down the shift key. So hold down that shift key. Now it's both selected this L and this L. Hold down the shift key. I can zoom out by clicking on this, and I can see a little bit more. Hold down the shift key, select my H. Now, you can see my A and my L are, but my H is not. So maybe I want to change that later. But right now, what I want to show you is how I can move this all together. I have my spacing right, my lined up right. I select all of them. I get it centered where I want. You might want to zoom out to be able to see a little bit better. So I use the negative thing, and that is not centered at all. So maybe I want to center it. And so I'm going to put it right here, close to center. So you can see this grid line, this darker grid line, is 10 millimeters from this grid line, which is 10 millimeters from this grid line. So that's 20. It's about 22 away. If I come this way, I've got like almost 5. So I got 5 here, a little bit more than 5 here, 10 here, a little bit more than 5 here. You can count them if you want it. And so that is also going to be close to 20. And maybe I need to move it just a little bit more this way, about there. So now that that's 21, and this would be close to 21. And again, you could count on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I know that's 10, so that's 9, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So maybe back just a little bit, and just make sure you center it. But that's something you can play with and get it just the way you want it. Once you're finished with this one, you're going to go back, and it saves it automatically. You're going to go back to Tinkercad icon up here. And the room number for you is not going to change because you selected a room to do all 6 different passes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this. It's going to open it up and it's going to say copy of, but we don't want that. We're going to go up here and change the name so that it says same room. Oops. There we go, backspace. Get rid of that, but now it's not going to be the hall pass. Maybe it's the main office pass or nurse pass. Let's do another short one, nurse pass, okay? Again, don't delete these. Again, the room can stay. You have that where you want it. It doesn't have to move, but if you want to move it around, you can. Bring these up here. Again, you could select all of them at the same time, but holding down Shift. Make sure you select on the letters itself and not the background. Bring them out of the way. And then now we need to do our nurse pass. So we're going to bring in our N. And again, I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm just going to bring in a couple. I already talked about how you would copy it. One thing I wanted to show you. So when I copied it, remember it went back to this snapping grid down here. It's snapping to 1 millimeter. So sometimes it's a little bit not lining up my letters. So I click that off. I would zoom into my letters and just kind of see how close are they to being lined up. A little bit higher here than there. That looks pretty good, but it's a little bit higher here. So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Yeah, not too much. Maybe about there. Okay. And so that's a little bit below line, that's a little bit below line, or you can get it right on the line so that you know where it belongs. And then zoom back out. Oops. And continue. You have to copy this. So we click on the R, Control C, Control V, using the keyboard commands, and bring that in here. About 1 millimeter spacing. I'm going to put it right there. Again, I might want to zoom in and make sure it is lined up pretty well, and that looks pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect, but close. I want these to look good. Okay, and then zoom back out. And we need an S. I might have to zoom out even farther. So I'm going to click Home, and then select this. So we'll see, and then zoom back in to that. There we go. It's changed my view again. So if you don't remember, this was supposed to be flat view. Why it's not flat? That's weird. Oh, up here, top. Go to top. There we go. Go to top, and then now flat view top is all selected, and bring the S in here, and try to line it up, and then bring the E in here, and line it up. Okay. And again, you can zoom in to make sure they're all lined up nice and neat. If you want to select all of them, hold down the Shift key and do the next one. It selects it, do the next one, do the next one. You might need to zoom in a little bit so you don't click on other things. And then you can click on a letter, make sure it's a letter, and put it just where we want it. All right, and then go back to Tinkercad and continue on making these. Of course, with pass on there as well at the bottom, all the letters, all the room numbers that you need, and you're going to duplicate it. So maybe duplicate the original one, or maybe duplicate this one, doesn't really matter, whatever makes sense to you, and continue to make those. Once you're done all 6, then go back. I didn't want to change the letter sizes right away because each one is a little bit different. Like if I'm doing bathroom drink pass, I kind of need them to be smaller letters. But if I'm doing hall pass, I can make them bigger. If you remember, my picture here, hall was bigger. So you can do that by going into Tinkercad. So we're going to tinker this one. Go after you've made all 6, go back in and kind of change the letter sizes. So again, I forgot that this was not the same. lined up with this one. So remember, go back down here, change this to off so that you can move this in unlimited positions. And there, that's more lined up to where I want it. Then I can click on the blue and zoom out, and then click off the blue so that I'm not selecting anything. Anyway, so now I'm going to select my letters, and I want them to be bigger. Of course, make sure you have pass on here as well so that you know where that's going to be and you're not going to get too big. So make that bigger and make it look good. Don't make it too super stretched, and don't make it too super like this. Stretch doesn't look too bad. But this, nah, can't read it. I'm gonna be able to read these. So keep them spaced, keep them somewhat perspective, and then center it best you can. Make sure pass is in there, and then you're done. And then go back and make any modifications you want to the other ones. I will delete all these letters, so you don't need to do that. And so there you go. You have your passes. You can go to the next one and make modifications to it, maybe make it bigger or smaller, but I wouldn't do that again until you've made all your passes so that your letters aren't different sizes and you're copying, pasting letters that are different sizes. Make them all first, then go back and edit it. All right, I think that's what I need you guys to do. One thing I do want to mention is when you're done with these and you want extra credit, you can come back in here and wait until Wednesday morning, come in here and you can pick another room and you can do another set of 6. But really that's going to be super easy because you're already going to have a hall pass, you're already going to have a nurse's pass, you're just going to open these or duplicate these and change the room number. So, you know, let's say I duplicate this, I already have my hall pass made up, I really don't need to change anything except for the number. Change this number out instead of this, oops. See, undo that right away. That goes back to the way it was. Maybe zoom in so I can see a little bit better. All right, that may be too far. Okay, and bring that out of there. And so it won't take you long because you already have the hall pass written down. Let's go back. No, let's go back to zooming out. And let's just say this is room 6. I don't know. There's no room 6 in the middle school, but let's just say it's room 6. Bring in your room numbers and change this up here to be a different room. So we'll say it's 6 and get rid of copy. And then that's how you're going to get extra credit. Oops. So room 6, all pass. Or if you just want to be nice, don't really worry about the extra credit. Just be nice and help us out because there is only 57 students and 73 rooms. So we need some people to do more than one in order to get this done for all the rooms in our building. So help us out. Thank you very much. That's all I have for you.